Ray Hadley's devastation after his police officer's son is charged after allegedly trying to buy cocaine in a pub car park.
This is going to be a long, slow process for my son. I love him dearly.
A man faces court over a huge ice haul on the Central Coast. Highway horror, how a mother and her baby cheated death. And Mitchell Pearce injured again as the Tigers down the Knights.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. Radio broadcaster Ray Hadley usually asks the questions, but today he was searching for answers. His police officer's son Daniel has been allegedly caught buying cocaine at a pub in Sydney's Rouse Hill. Hadley breaking down today as he revealed his son's mental health struggle and his failure to spot it.
Nearly 7 years ago, a proud Ray Hadley shed tears when his son Daniel became a police officer. The 22-year-old probationary constable ready to serve the community.
We've got the best training facilities here and we're ready for it now.
Today, the radio broadcaster again cried.
This is going to be a long, slow process for my son. I love him dearly.
His emotions laid bare, not because his son had just been arrested for drug possession, but the fact that as a father, he missed the signs the young officer was suffering mental health issues.
And I wish that God had come to me before this morning to tell me what he was battling.
And that was not the only secret. Police had Senior Constable Daniel Hadley under surveillance after a tip-off from within the force that he was using prohibited drugs. Last night, the 28-year-old was observed in the car park at the Australian Hotel in Rouse Hill, purchasing a small amount of cocaine. He was immediately arrested, and so too was the alleged dealer. Hadley was charged with possessing 0.79 of a gram of cocaine and bailed to appear in Blacktown Court on September 10.
When I was first told, I was both angry and perplexed. I had no idea that my son, a respected police officer, would be involved in such a matter.
But late last night, Hadley said that anger turned to shock and sadness when his son opened up about his private struggles. He'd been seeing the family doctor, and today he was admitted to a special clinic.
It is a very serious problem.
The physical dangers of police work are obvious, but the mental toll can be hidden. Ray Hadley says his son knows and accepts he's done the wrong thing, but he believes he may not have been in control.
I feel particularly inadequate as a father and as a spokesman for Are You OK Day, when in fact my own son is not okay.
Daniel Hadley's future as a cop is now in the balance, but his father says his health and not his career is all that matters.
I thank you for your understanding and your attendance. Thank you.
After years of talk and no action from both sides of politics, the tax on women's sanitary products is finally set to be scrapped. But first, it needs to be backed by the states and territories, and that's already starting to happen.
The Minister for Women today vowing to axe a tax on females.
Ultimately, it's the right and fair thing to do.
18 years after the GST was imposed on tampons and sanitary products, the government says they want it gone.
We call on the state and territory governments to scrap the tax.
And that's because any move to abolish the 10% hike would need their support. Today, several states back the move.
In principle, we support the federal government's decision. We'll work through the details.
We would be very keen to see the federal government remove this unfair tax.
I'm clear that this issue is one that we can adapt our taxation system to. That's a small price to pay.
That small price equates to $30 million a year in revenue. In 2015, Joe Hockey tried and failed to scrap the tax. In April, Labor said they'd found a solution, and one which wouldn't hurt the public purse. Today, they claimed credit.
Scott Morrison must hope that Australia's women have a very short memory, because he has been the blockage
to reform.
But while John Howard introduced the GST in 2001, the present government pointed out that Labor had 6 years to remove the tax and didn't.
The Labor Party, for all their talk, have actually done nothing.
This is just an attempt to distract from the government's political woes.
Early Walsh, NBN News.
A man's been charged after $8 million worth of ice was seized by police on the Central Coast. 16 kilograms of the drug were hidden in a consignment of industrial equipment, with $300,000 in cash also found. The 42-year-old was arrested at Terrigal and is accused of drug importing offences. We've been shown designs for years. Now NBN News has been given an exclusive first look at the light rail cars that will soon call Hunter Street home. The first of 6 has rolled off the production line in Europe, and it's on its way here.
Assembly complete, Spanish workers carefully load our first ever Airbus 100 onto a truck, then a cargo ship heading for Newcastle.
The footage looks great, the vehicles look great, and we're really excited.
Revitalising Newcastle acknowledges the milestone has been a long time coming.
These are major infrastructure projects, you can't just deliver them overnight.
But says anticipation is gradually building.
And I think people are now starting to realise it's getting closer and closer.
The tram should reach port early next month, then face rigorous testing. Each will run on wire-free technology and Australian first.
We need to test that the batteries are working right, the brakes, all those safety things. You know, we want to make sure that it's we've got what we were promised.
Adult passengers with an Opal card will eventually pay $2.20 a journey. Those without, $2.80. Children's fares are half each amount. Seniors and concession card holders will pay $1.10. If you jump on from a bus or train, the journey will cost you between 10 and 20 cents.
We're quite happy with what's being proposed at this point in time.
5 more trams are still on the assembly line. All 6 must arrive before services can commence early next year.
It's going to operate, and a lot of those urban myths that have been floating around for a few years now will be put to bed.
Sam Burberry, NBN News.
Smoke hung over the Pacific Highway between Newcastle and the Central Coast for most of today, with rural fire service crews completing 2 hazard reduction burns in the region. More than 80 hectares was burnt off during a closely monitored operation at Freeman's Waterhole. The area was chosen to reduce the risk of a future fire impacting homes and the motorway.
It did start off a little bit windy this morning. The wind has died down and the burn is going to prescription.
The other burn was conducted in bushland at Summersby. Meat workers at Scone's biggest employer have accepted a new agreement after a month of negotiations. In early July, more than 70 meat workers walked off the job at JBS Scone, protesting compulsory weekend work. Workers have agreed to a new offer, including rostered days off for employees on a 5-day roster, a pay rise of up to 13% over 4 years, and a $300 bonus once the deal is signed. Support for our nation's farmers has been coming in droves this week, and now a Hunter Valley couple is thinking outside the square when it comes to drought help. They're offering their grazing land to farmers in need, and they're hoping more people will follow suit.
200 acres for cattle to roam free and to eat off the land. Kylie Hughes and Peter Harbright are hobby farmers with just 40 cattle of their own. After seeing the dire conditions much of the state is enduring, they wanted to offer a helping hand, or more correctly, some help for land.
We've got grass at the moment, so we thought, well, you know, if we can help someone out, it might be for 3 months or 6 months or till it rains next.
With the aid of Patterson MP Meryl Swanson, the couple has opened up their property to free agistment, welcoming 40 heifers and their calves from an owner in Scone, now freely grazing the land. Some calves are half their average size because they're malnourished.
So they'd already sold, they had 1,000 odd cows, they were down to 250. So we took 20 of their brood heifers, and they were all with babies.
The owners were here yesterday when they dropped them off, and they said that some of the, well, these cattle in particular haven't had grass for over 12 months.
The pair are hoping more hobby farmers could jump on the bandwagon.
That's our main reason, just to open it up to other people who might think outside the square.
She said, oh look, we've got paddocks, surely goodness we can take some cows. And I'm sure there are other people in this area that have got 20, 50 acres.
Samantha Long, NBN News.
A Sydney artist has taken home Newcastle's Kilgour Prize thanks to this intricate self-portrait called Within the Studio. Natasha Walsh painted the small, exquisite artwork on a piece of marble, taking home the $50,000 prize. Close to 400 artworks were submitted this year, with 5 hunter artists making the final cut. After the break, the American couple who starved and tortured their 13 children face court.
Can I get the vegan breakfast with bacon?
The veggie burger, medium rare. Can we split that 11 ways?
Can I have my eggs inverse, so yolk on the outside?
Can you tell the chef? Where's the chef?
Could I have soy? Sure. Almond milk? Yap milk? Done.
From orders through to payments, with ANZ Play Pay and the right app, you'll get on top of your business.
Can you remove the sour from the salad?
Experience smooth, creamy milk chocolate, perfectly blended with rich cocoa. Cadbury Dark Milk.
It takes a lot to create new life. Elevate has more folic acid and iron than any other pregnancy multivitamin. Folic acid is clinically proven to reduce the risk of neural tube defects. But it takes time to build up your nutrient levels. So you should start taking Elevate before you start trying. Take a first step for a healthy baby with Elevate, Australia's #1 pregnancy multivitamin. With you every step.
What do you really want? Ever since I was at school, I always wanted to open up a chicken shop.
Sometimes talking to yourself can help you work out what you want in life.
I'd love a bigger house. That would be great.
I want to go to Kenya and I want to go on a horse riding safari.
And that's when NAB can really help.
I'd like to wake up wanting to go to work because I love what I do.
Always wanted a car with leather seats.
So start talking to yourself.
NAB. More than money.